Hi, I'm Tylee Newland. Welcome to Happiness Hints. Warning! Today I'm going to be using a four-letter word rather a lot. It's S-H-I-T. I hope you don't find it offensive. I'm using it for a very good reason, because today's happiness hint is don't stir the shit. Let's take a look at the qualities of a cow shit. When it's first shat out, it's wet and very smelly. But if you leave it alone, it starts to crust over. And if you just leave it for long enough, it dries out. It dries out so much that really there's no smell at all. And eventually it actually dissolves into the ground. But if you start breaking it up, it starts to stink. If I had a stick and I stirred that around, that would start to stink. So that's the thing about cow shit, right? Leave it alone, it stops stinking. Stir it, it stinks. You don't want to step in it. And it makes good fertilizer. And it's exactly the same with shit in our lives. When shit happens to us, it stinks. Especially when people are nasty to us. But if we just leave it alone, say, well, that happened. Yeah, it wasn't very nice. And let it go. Don't think about it anymore. Just let it fade into the past. The smell goes. It doesn't bother us. But if we keep thinking about what happened and we go over and over and over it in our minds, that's stirring the shit. That is making it smell all over again. He did this to me, he did that to me, she said this, he said that. That was so unfair. How could he say those things after everything I've done for him? All of that kind of stuff. Each time you think over what happened, you raise all those emotions, you relive it. You make yourself suffer. You suffer over your suffering, and you really don't need to do that. Sure, the situation was bad. Sure, the situation stank. But if you leave it alone, the crust will form over it and it'll stop smelling. Some people spread a lot of shit around. Don't step in it. Really? Dance around it. It's their shit. Just leave it. Don't get involved. It's very easy, especially online, to jump on the bandwagon of somebody else's shit. They're spitting. Horrible things are being said. Seriously, don't get involved. All that will happen is that their shit gets all over you and you start to stink just as much as they do. And just as this marvellous cow poo breaks down into fertilizer that makes things grow, so you can use the negative circumstances in your life as an opportunity to grow. You can practice sending the person who's annoyed you some love. Yeah. Because they are only acting that way because they're unhappy. So send them some love. Help make them happy. And that'll make things a lot easier for you. You can use your negative circumstances as an opportunity for you to grow, for you to develop love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Yeah, it might sound difficult, but it is possible. Just think of it as fertilizer. Use it well. How do you let shit go, though? Because it has a tendency of kind of getting stuck to our minds. And we'll find ourselves thinking about these situations again, whether we want to or not. And trying not to think of them just makes you think about them more. I mean, if you try not to think about the pink elephant in the room, I bet that's about all you're going to think about. So you have to be a little bit more skillful than just trying not to think about those things. You might need to do something to finish with the situation. You might need to make an apology. You might need to go back to that person and explain something calmly. You might need to resign your job. Or you might need to just do a random act of kindness for that person. Just something so that you feel it's ended, it's finished, and then you can move on. And then when those thoughts start coming up, when you start going over it again, just do something different. Go somewhere you like to be. Go for a walk. Go to a movie, read a book. Just something to take your mind elsewhere. And of course, there's meditation. In meditation, you practice just letting that stuff go. And if it's really wild and it's just not settling, try singing, chanting. It moves your energy in a really good way. It clears out the emotions. And loving kindness and compassion practices are really useful when you're dealing with difficult people and events. They're very powerful practices that can cut through your anger and your jealousy. And don't keep talking about the event, because the more you talk about it, of course, the more you think about it. Of course, you'll want to tell somebody. Fine, tell them. One person. Don't go spreading it around. That's spreading the shit. And actually, it's not going to make you feel any better. Each time you talk about it, it's going to rouse the same emotions. You're going to relive it again and again. And that is stirring the shit. And that makes it stink. And that makes you unhappy. So remember, don't stir the shit. You'll also find the don't stir the shit analogy in this book, You Can't Shatter Me. It's about how to deal with bullies in a way that makes you stronger. So the whole book really is about using shit as fertilizer. The one thing that has made the most difference in bringing happiness into my life is meditation. And to help you bring meditation into your life, I've made a free guided meditation on MP3, and you can pick it up at talianewland.com/guided-meditation. And take a look at my bookshop at talianewland.com. Look out for How to Meditate Easily, Effectively and Deeply on ebook, audiobook and paperback. And while you're there, check out my award-winning fiction. I write real magic, stories with the power to transform. You've been watching Happiness Hints, hosted by Talia Newland, with music by Chris Newland. Want to be a guest on the show? Fill out the form at happinesshints.com. And if you enjoyed this happiness hint, don't miss the next one. It comes out every week on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean and Stitcher. So subscribe to the show now. And don't forget to like and share with your friends. And even leave a comment or a review. I love to hear what you have to say. And to make sure that Happiness Hints keeps coming, consider being a patron. Every dollar helps. Thank you. See you next time.